And when Rana Pratap threw his bhala to that leader, and his elephant was very trained, and Rana Pratap was not aware that his elephant has sword in his trunk. Okay? And those elephants who are fighting in battlefield, they always keep sword in their trunk. And they are cutting, they are killing, horses and person too. So his elephant was very trained too, and he has sword in his trunk. When Rana Pratap jumped, and his horse jumped on Salim, then his elephant, used his sword and cut leg of that horse, the Chetak. Rana Pratap was riding on the Chetak. When Chetak saw that his one leg was cut by that elephant, then he turned. When he turned, Rana Pratap was not aware that my horse has only 3 legs. Okay? He was not aware about that because he was looking in front. And then that horse turned from battlefield. And you will be surprised. If you have time, any time, go India and must visit that place that's called Haldi Ghanti. It's a very historical place near to Udaipur. Okay? There is a Srinath temple that is called Nathadwara, and near to Nathadwara that place is Haldi Ghati. And you can't imagine that one horse can jump so long. Okay? And he was at that time on the hill when he was fighting, and he turned from hill and he jumped. There was a river, big river, and he crossed all river in one jump. Okay? And that horse has only 3 legs. And Rana Pratap was, kicking that horse, and he was thinking that now today this horse is, betraying me, and he was turning from battlefield. It is not good for me. He was thinking in this way. And he became angry on that horse. But horse was very aware. And horse knew that if he will stay here, then that person will kill Rana Pratap. So he ran from that place. And he jumped whole river. And when he jumped, and after that, crossing that river, he fell there. When he fell and has no leg, when he was on the ground, and Rana Pratap saw, and he was stunned. My horse has only 3 legs. Okay? And then he caught his neck and he cried, "Oh my boy, you saved me." Okay? And Chetak, there is a very good statue of Chetak, that horse, and there is a very good statue of Rana Pratap, and this is a very historical incident. So I was telling you, sometimes a tame steed always saved his master. So your senses are like a steed, and try to tame them. If you try to tame them, automatically they will act according to your own will, and they will drive you up to your destination, and you will reach one day up to your destination. So be aware about it. Your senses are horses of your chariot. Your mind is a rain. You are aware about rain. One part of rain always live in the hand of charioteer, and other part of rain always, become tied with horses. In the same way, your mind is acting. Lower part of mind is related with your senses. Okay? And upper part of mind is the hand of your intellect. As I stated many times, that your mind is, projection of your ego, and your ego is child of your intellect, your wisdom. And your wisdom is the master of your body. Whatever your wisdom is, you are same. Okay? And if I can say that your wisdom is your soul, there is no doubt. Okay? So, whatever your wisdom is, you are saved. Lord stated in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yat Shraddha Sa Eva Sa Sattvanurupa Sarvasya Shraddha Bhodvar. Sattva means wisdom. As your wisdom is, you are saved. If your wisdom is Sattvika, you are Sattvika, you are divine person. If your wisdom is Rajasika, and you are, demonic person. If your wisdom is Tamasika, you are like an animal. So these stages are related with your wisdom. If your wisdom is pure, you are divine person. So, wisdom is the charioteer of your life. Buddhi is the charioteer of your life. So, Lord stated that your, reign of life, it means your mind. And upper part of mind is related with wisdom. And lower part of mind is related with your senses. There are two minds, upper mind and lower mind. Okay? Every psychologist always talk about it. So, mind has two facets, upper mind and lower mind. Lower mind are related with your senses and work through senses and, hold some sense object and enjoy with sense object, and all kinds of worldly enjoyment are related with your lower mind. Okay? And upper mind is related with your intellect. Always your intellect is guiding your mind. If your intellect is fully aware, then can discriminate what is the right and what is the wrong. Then control your mind and say your mind, don't do it, and do it. Lord stated in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that Indriyani Paranyavur Indriyabhya Paramana Manasastu Para Buddhi Yo Buddhya Partastu Sa. Okay? Your senses are higher than object of senses. Your mind is the higher than senses, and your intellect is the higher than your mind, and your real self is the higher than your intellect too. Whatever is beyond intellect, that is your real self. So your real self is beyond intellect, but your individuation is depend upon intellect totally. What your intellect is, and what kinds of your intellect is, you are safe. So here Lord stated that you try to control your mind, by your intellect, and try to control your senses by your mind. So your mind is reign and has two aspects. Lower aspect of mind are related with your senses. Aspect of mind is related with your intellect. So you can control in this way. Your intellect is charioteer, and your real self is only residing in the chariot. Anything, he has no any desire to act, and has no means to act without intellect, without ego, without mind, without senses. Your real self can't do anything. Due to that, in Sankhya philosophy we are reading Asangoyam Purusa. Your real self is totally detached, only enlightened. Okay? In Upanishad we are saying Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunasya. What real self is, and Upanishad told that is only seer. He is saying not acting, he is not thinker, he is not actor, okay, he is not doer, he is only seer. Sakshi. And what is his form? Cheta. He is only knowledgeful, pure knowledge. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo. He is singer alone. He is one, absolute, infinite. And Kevalo, Nirgunasya, beyond three attributes of nature. So your real self is beyond nature. Your real self is one and absolute. And your real nature self is only seer. And your real nature is only pure knowledge, pure consciousness. So that is nature of your real self. Okay? So your real self is not doer. Doership is related with your intellect and your ego. Mostly that is related with your ego. Ahankar vimudha atma karta aham iti manyate. Okay? Atma is not karta. He is not doer. But due to egotism, he accepts as he is doing all these things. Okay? And due to this, he is suffering. So Lord stated here that when you will control, when you will realize your real self, and you will feel that that is our, he is not doer but seer, automatically you will be asanga, you will be detached. Automatically you not will be, but you are detached. You will realize this fact. You will realize this fact that you are detached already. Okay? So, yatha sarvendriyarthesu na karmasu anusajjate. And when you are not being attached with your action, what your actions are going on in your body, in your mind, in your intellect, in your ego, all are projection of nature. Because Lord stated in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Karya Karan Kartritve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate. All senses are projection of nature, and all activities are projection of nature, and whatever you are doing, that you are doing into nature. So all are related with nature. You are not really doer. Your real self is not doer. That is only enlightener. Okay? That is only seer. That is only knower. Because knowledge is his real nature. Due to that, yatha sarvendriyarthesu na karmasu anusajjate. When you will be fully aware about this fact, automatically you will be detached with your senses. You will be detached with your object of senses, and you will be detached with your action too. And action and object of senses can't bring you in this world. So be aware about it. Yada sarvendriyarthesu karmasu anusajjate. Anusajjate means to be attached. And don't slightly also. Anusajjate. Anu means very small part of your egotism. When your very small part of egotism is not related with the action, is not related with your object of senses. A small part too. Sometimes we are not, we are thinking that we are not doer, but we are only suggester. We are giving suggestion, we are not doing. Okay? We are thinking that we are not too attached, but little we are only, giving suggestion. And that is a anusajjate, because you are, going to be related with that action, that activities, that object of senses, slightly. So Lord stated here, when slightly also, na anusajjate, not in any amount, in any, any ratio, you are related with those actions and object of senses. And third thing, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. And when you become thoughtless, no sankalpa, because all sankalpas are related with your diversity. When you are believing in diversity, then sankalpa appear. So sankalpas are result of diversities. There will be no sankalpa in unity. Where there is unity, there is no sankalpa. But where there is diversity, there is sankalpa. Sankalpa always starts, from dual thought, dual thinking, dual belief. When you are believing in dualism, when you are believing in diversity, when you are believing polarity, and then your sankalpa starts. This is mine and this is yours. Okay? When you are believing in individuation, then automatically you will believe in dualism too. Because if there is one, there must be two too. So, Lord stated here, don't believe in one too. Okay? Believe in infinity. Infinity is not one. One is another thing, infinity is another thing. When you are, symbolizing infinity, you are only putting dot. Dot is symbol of infinity, but not one is symbol of infinity. Okay? When you write one, it means there is two, there is three, there are so many two. You are accepting some individuation. So one is individual, be aware. But infinity is not individual. Okay? Infinity is infinity. So Lord stated here, Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. When you will accept individuation, your Sankalpa will start. So be aware and don't accept any kinds of individuation. Live in unity. He is talking about yogi. Yoga rudhas tadocyate. Yoga rudha means who is sublime on the highest level of yoga. He told that person sublimed highest level of yoga who become free from all kinds of thought, become free from all kinds of duality. Okay? He finished all diversity and he is living in unity. That is, sublimed on the higher level of yoga. Not such kind of person who is believing in individuality. So there are three qualities. First, be free from your object of senses and be free from your doership. Two things. Then try to remove that thought, whatever create duality, whatever create doership, okay? What it create individuation. Try to be free from such kind of thought. When you will be free from such kind of thought, then you will achieve serenity in your mind. Then you will achieve tranquility in your mind. Then your mind will be subdued. Okay? Then you will be yogi. This is the sign of yogi. This is the symbol of yogi. This is the qualification of yogi. Okay? You can't be yogi before that. So Lord is stating here in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that you must be yogi, try to be yogi and try to do such kind of higher practices daily and be aware about that truth. Without being yogi you can't achieve eternal peace. Or that is your inner demand. Everybody wants to achieve that eternal peace. Or that eternal peace can be achieved through yoga only, Lord stated. Yogo bhavati dukkha. If you want to be free from suffering, you must be yogi, because there is no any other way can make you free from suffering beside yoga. Because Lord stated, Yogo bhavati dukkha. This yoga is annihilator of all kinds of suffering. When a person achieves this yoga, then he becomes free from suffering, not other way. So, Lord told here, be thoughtless, try to be thoughtless. Due to that, I am indicating always when you are meditating, you must put your mind into infinity and think about infinity. Then automatically you will be thoughtless, because your thought will start when you will accept your individuation. But when you will put your mind into infinity, automatically your mind will be stable, because there will be no object. How your mind will, think? Mind always thinking about some particular object. Where there is no object, mind can't think about that. So, Lord stated here, Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. Sarva Sankalpa means good and bad. First he stated, you should try to Kam Sankalpa Varjita and try to live such kind of Sankalpa, and those Sankalpa who are related with your selfish motive. But here, if you want to be yogi, you must try to live all Sankalpas. Maybe good Sankalpa, maybe Sankalpa related with welfare of all being, but in meditation state you try to live that kind of Sankalpa too. Okay? If you want to be Karma Yogi, then you must, adopt such kind of Sankalpa. There is a good wishes and well wishes for all being. That Sankalpa become helpful for you. But if you want to achieve serenity and samadhi, you must try to live such kind of Sankalpa too. If good Sankalpa is in your mind, then your mind will move too. Because where there is sankalpa, there is movement in mind. So be aware, Lord stated here, sarva sankalpa sannyasi. In meditation state, when you try to meditate, at that state you must try to leave all sankalpas and try to be thoughtless. Dhyanam nirvisayam mana. In Upanishad we are reading, what is dhyana? What is meditation? He told that dhyanam nirvisayam mana. When your mind becomes objectless and momentless, that is called dhyana. In other words, when your mind becomes thoughtless, that is called dhyana. So thoughtless mind is called, meditation. And without being thoughtless, you can't meditate. So here Lord stated that yoga rudhas tadachyate, when you will achieve that highest level of consciousness, when you will sublime on higher level of, your consciousness, then you will be yogi. Then you will be considered as a yoga rudha. Now, you are riding on the yoga. Okay? And Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, we are reading that mind was, considered as a steamed, okay, but untamed steamed. If you want to tend it, you must do practice slowly, gradually, and awarefully. If you will try to behave with your mind harshly, you can't tame it. So if you try to tame it, must behave gently, softly, okay, lovingly, then you will be able to tame it. So Lord stated here that sarva sankalpa sannyasi, you should try to leave all sankalpas and teach your mind, as Tulsidasa is teaching in Vinay Patrika. Man mere mani sikh meri. O my mind, listen my good teaching. Think, who is yours? Who will give you peace? Who will give you tranquility beside Lord? All these worldly people are suffering themselves. How they will give you peace and happiness? Those kinds of people who are suffering themselves, how they will make you free from suffering? Try to teach your mind. Try to talk with your mind. In Vinay Patrika we are seeing Goswami Tulsidas is talking with his own mind and teaching his own mind. Man mere mane sikh meri. O my mind, listen my teaching. He's teaching his own mind. And you can do that too. You can talk with your mind separately when you sit aside. Then you talk with your mind. Oh my mind, understand what reality is and how you want peace, you want tranquility, you want happiness. Then from whom you are expecting? Who will give you peace? Who will give you happiness? Automatically your mind is very soft, okay, and very, innocent too. So your mind will listen your teaching one day. This is a very good process in Vinay Patrika, Saint Tulsidas told. And Lord is, studying here, same thing. They try to tame your mind, teach your mind, and be free from all kinds of sankalpa. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi, yoga rudhas tadochyate. When you will be free from all kinds of sankalpa, then you will be yoga rudha. Yoga rudha means you will sublime on the yoga, in higher state of consciousness. It means you will achieve evenness of mind. And in next shloka, he stated a very, very great idea. This idea of Lord, be aware about. Okay? People always try to put his own responsibility on the other soldiers. This is nature of mankind. We are thinking, yeah, I try my best, but what but is? He always blame others. And time was not good, and my luck was not good. In other words, it was not, willing to God. Due to that, I couldn't, achieve success. He's thinking in this way. He's always blaming others. But Lord is saying in 4th shloka in this 6th chapter, 5th shloka, Uddhared atmanatmanam na atmanam aushadet. It is a great, great teaching. Lord declared himself that you are responsible for your utthana and patana. Okay? You are responsible for your evolution and involution, your development in your decline. Your declination is result of your own action, and your sublime will be result of your action too. If you want to sublime, then be aware, and you should try to sublime. Uddharet atmanatmanam. Uddharet means try to bring up. Utaharet. Ut means up, above. Haret means pull, and try to pull up yourself. Uddharet atmanam atmanam. Atmana atmanam. And a person should try to elevate himself by himself. By himself. He doesn't, teach here, God will help him, God will do that. No. This is your own duty. If you will try to elevate yourself, then God will help you. Okay? If you are not eager to elevate yourself, then no power can elevate you. Be aware. Because God is source of energy, God is source of life, God is source of power. But it depends upon your, own will. How much energy you are receiving from God. How much, guidance you are receiving from God. How much power you are receiving from God. This depends upon you. If you are able, if you are aware, then you can receive more ability, more power, more strength, more knowledge from Godhead. Okay? God is like an ocean. And how much water you can get from that, this depends upon you. God is even for every person. Okay? Samoham sarvabhutesu name deshtos na priya, he told. I am equal to all. There is no partiality in my life, in myself, he told. E bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai teschapyam. As the sun is rising for every person, if you will try to close your eyes, then what sun will do? Sun can't give you light if you are closing your own eyes. In the same way, Lord stated that Lord can't help those who are closing their own eyes, who are not helping themselves. Be aware about this truth. So he taught here, Uddhared atmanatmanam. By his own self, he should try to elevate himself. You are responsible about your own life, my dear. No other can be responsible. And don't try to blame others. Okay? Your present is nothing but result of your own past. And your future will be nothing but result of your own present. Okay? Your present is nothing but result of your own past. And your future will be nothing but result of your own present. Whatever you will do in present, okay, that will be your future. And whatever you did in past, that is your present. So you are responsible. No other power, no other person, no other being can be responsible about your own life. Be aware about it. Saint Tulsidasa wrote in Bhagavad Gita, in Ramayana, Karai jo karma pava phala soi. And man is achieving a result of his own action. Okay? Then what Guru is doing, what God is doing, when you become eager to achieve, then they will help. At that child who wants to stand, mother always help that child. Okay? And that person who wants to stand and other person help, only that person. But don't think that anybody can keep always you up. No. You must try to stand your own leg. So if you will try, then Guru will help you, God will help you, and you will achieve, many kinds of help from divine powers. But if you are not eager, there was a great saint in India, his name was Swami Ram Tirtha, and he wrote that maybe millions of messengers, maybe millions of saints, maybe millions of incarnations, but they can't, elevate one person. If that person is not eager to elevate himself, okay? If that person is not eager to elevate himself, then nobody can elevate him. In our philosophical treatises we are reading, there are 4 kinds of compassion. Okay? Mercy, Kripa, Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, and Ishwar Kripa. And these Kripa, these mercies are related with your first, Apani Kripa. If you will be merciful your own self, then and Shastra and Guru and God will help you. If you are not helping yourself, Guru can't do anything, God can't do anything, and Shastra can't do anything. Okay? So be aware about this, saying Lord declared here, Uddhared Atmana Atmanam. You should try to elevate yourself by yourself, because you are responsible for your own life. Na Atmanam Aushaded. Don't try to sing your own self. Okay? If you will be not aware fully about your own self, then automatically you will sing your own self. Okay? Your sublimation and your declination both are related with your own will. And whatever you like you can do. Lord stated here, Uddhared Atmanatmanam na Atmanam Aushaded. A person should try to sublime himself and try to elevate himself, try to lift himself by himself. But it is not good to sink himself. Okay? If you will try to sublime, if you will try to elevate yourself, if you will try to uplift yourself, then God will help you, Guru will help you, and all divine powers will help you. But if you are not eager to elevate yourself, then no power can help you. Be aware about this truth. Now time become over, and pray God, and further I will tell tomorrow. I am teaching here 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, daily in evening time, 7:30 to 8:30. There is meditation class, and 8 to 9 I am teaching this 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and it will be continued up to 14th of December. I will be here up to 14th of December, and 15th of December I will leave this country and I will go to London. So, you are, if you are eager and if you are interested then you can come here daily evening time and devote some time and listen this, teaching of Lord and try to learn some how to meditate. Okay? When I was last month here, then I gave my talk, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in Hindi. Now I am teaching this 6th chapter in this language. So, if you are eager, then you can come and listen and try to do meditation. Thank you very much. May God bless you all. May He lead you all from darkness to light, from unreal to real, from death to immortality. May He shower upon you all His divine grace. May He bestow upon you all His divine love and peace. Peace in the heaven, peace in the space, peace on the earth. Om Kham Brahma. And I am living here, so anybody, if want to ask about anything, anytime, if has any question or has any problem about his practice, can come and see and talk with me. Okay? Thank you very much. Now,
प्रेमियों, आज का कार्यक्रम स्पॉन्सर किया था हमारे भाई मोहनजीत और सोनल ने अपनी पुत्री जुगनू के जन्म दिवस के उपलक्ष्य में। मैं आचार्य श्री की ओर
yeah, so I am giving lot of blessing to that, Jugnu and not Jugnu. Jugnu is not good. That is that is a Deepti. Deepti means and that is a
उसका नाम तो नेहा है.
Yeah, maybe Sneha, but I am talking. Jugnu is do you know Jugnu? Yeah, Indian people know Jugnu. Jugnu is twinkling little light. That is very small creature. Okay? Yeah. What is it? Yeah. So that is called Jugnu. Okay? But Deepti is not that. That is divine light. Okay? So I am giving lot of blessings. Okay? And love to divine light, and may God help her and bestow upon her His divine grace and His divine love and His divine ability, divine power, and through which she can do something greater and better for herself and for mankind too. This is my heartiest blessing. And my blessing to her mother and father. Okay? And I pray my Lord that He will give them ability and potentiality to teach their children and put them on the proper path, okay, and path of divine and path of religion, okay, through which they can achieve happiness and prosperity in their life. Thank you very much.
इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि आप आरती के लिए खड़े हो जाएं। इस कार्यक्रम के साथ साथ 18 दिसंबर को मंदिर में दुर्गा माँ की चौकी का आयोजन होगा और 26 दिसंबर को हम रामचरितमानस का अखंड पाठ रखेंगे। ये दोनों कार्यक्रमों में भाग लेना ना भूलिएगा। मोहन जी, तो आरती नहीं करोगे?
अरे उठो उठो, तुम आरती करो भाई।
मेरा थाली दिया जलाओगे? चलिए भाई, दिया जला दो। वो दो थालियां पड़ी हैं दोनों।
दोनों जला दो, वो भी है।
सोनल कहाँ है?
जनों के
आवे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का स्वामी, दुख बिन से मन का। सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण पड़ूं मैं किसकी, स्वामी शरण पड़ूं मैं किसकी। प्रभु बिन और न दूजा, प्रभु बिन और न दूजा, आस करूं मैं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम पूरन परमात्मा, तुम अंतरयामी, स्वामी तुम अंतरयामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश। तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता। मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी, मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम होए गया गोचर, सबकी प्राणपति, किस विधि लो दयामय, किस विधि लो कृपामय, तुमको मैं तुम्हारी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता, ठाकुर तुम मेरे, स्वामी रक्षक तुम मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ, दया कर चरण लगाओ, द्वार पड़ा मैं तेरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। स्वामी जय दीनानाथ हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे। जगदीश हरे। नीलांबुज श्यामल कोमलांगं, सीता समारोपित वामभागं, पाणौ महासागरं चारुचापं, नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं, संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं, सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे, भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। देवी प्रपन्नार्ति हरे प्रसीद, प्रसीद माते जगतोऽखिलस्य, प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं, त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देहि। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिर्वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगुण शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि। ॐ शान्ति। बोल सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। बोल सनातन धर्म की धर्म की अधर्म का प्राणियों में विश्व का ओम हर हर महादेव पार्वती पतये नमः। हे नाथ मेरी यह प्रार्थना है, भूलो न मैं नाम कभी भी तुम्हारा। निष्काम होके मैं दिन रात गाऊं गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। देहांत काले जो तुम सामने हो, वंशी बजाते मन को लुभाते। गाती यही मैं तन नाथ त्यागूं गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हरि ओम। ड्रॉ है डॉक्टर